I have created twin perfect managers in FM24. Both managers have 200 current ability and potential ability, and both managers have 20 for all of their coaching and mental attributes, as well as playing the exact same style of play and having the same preferred formations for both players. So, we are going to find out which manager is going to do better. But there is a caveat. One of our perfect managers is starting in England at the best job possible in game. He is going to be starting at the echelon of managerial success at the moment. He is going to be in the English Premier League with Manchester City. On the other hand, our other perfect manager, he's still going to be in the Philippines. He is going to be starting off with Kaya in the Philippines Football League. So, although if we look at their hidden attributes, they both are the most reputable names in the world with perfect home and world reputation. But one of them will be utilizing their great reputation to be at the top of the game, and the other will be utilizing that reputation to be maybe closer to the bottom of the game. And we're going to see whether where you start in Football Manager has a whether or not that has a big effect on where they go in their career. Will the perfect manager who's starting at the top of the game, will he just stay there and be able to win all the trophies? Or can our perfect manager who's starting in the lower echelons of the game, in the Philippines Football League, can he, as the perfect manager, work his way up to be able to manage at some of the top clubs in the world? We're going to see what both of our managers' career trajectories look like. So right now, we're in 2023. As we previously mentioned, if we look at our players, one's at Man City, one's at Kaya, where will each end up? To start off, let's go forward 5 years into the future. We're going to go forward to 2028, and we're going to see what's going on then. And we are 5 years into the future and 2028, and things are very interesting. Our perfect manager who started off at Man City, he's now at Bayern Munich. But our perfect manager who started off in the Philippines, he isn't currently at a club. Well, let's start off by looking at him and seeing where he's at, because actually, he might have an international job right now. Well, looking at our perfect manager from the Philippines, sure enough, he is managing the Philippines national team right now. He has a very interesting job. And it looks like he's potentially led them up the world rankings. The Philippines starts off, I think, like 126th, and they're all the way up to 91st right now. And actually, let me go to their world rankings history. And certainly, since going under his tutelage, wow, they were as low as 134th very recently. He's made them significantly better. Well, wow, I'm genuinely shocked. So the perfect manager from the Philippines has done an excellent job managing the Philippines. So he's doing a great job for where he's at. He certainly worked his way up. That is excellent to see. And on the flip side, for Kaya, he's done everything he could. I mean, he's won the Philippines Football League twice. Let's look and see, and the Philippines Football League Cup. Let's look and see what the Philippines Football League is like, looking at the past winners. And actually, it is a big loss for Kaya not to have him because they really haven't won the league since he's left. So, sure enough, our perfect manager has been very successful wherever he's went. He could absolutely work his way up the coaching ladder. That being said, and his world reputation is still very high. There's absolutely no reason that he can't continue working his way up. If he does well with the Philippines, I don't see why he can continue working his way up and getting better jobs. So he has a positive trajectory to his career. Let's look at the perfect manager who started at Man City to see how he has been doing. Well, it seems like he's been doing fine. He won the English Premier Division. He won the Carabao Cup. 3 consecutive Premier Divisions. Oh, geez. The UEFA Champions League, 4 Premier Divisions, 2 Champions Leagues. Why did he leave Man City to go to Bayern? They just won the Champions League. He won four Premier Divisions in a row. I don't know why he left. Well, he's at Bayern Munich now. There's nothing really to say there except for the fact that he's been absolutely outstanding. I guess I mean, unsurprisingly, his career trajectory has been just fine. The real question is, can our perfect manager who started in the Philippines catch up? I'm curious to see where our perfect manager who's in the Philippines goes next because he has a head coaching role in the Philippines national team. He can't be there forever. Why don't we just, but he's a free agent. He's available to sign on a free, so let's see where he ends up. I don't see why a top club wouldn't want him, maybe in Asia. So let's see where he ends up next. Let's go forward 2 years and we'll see what happens. Well, I've ended up just going 1 year into the future to 2029 because our perfect manager from the Philippines, as we can see here, has left his job. He actually resigned as head coach of the Philippines after a run of bad results, which is shocking. I mean, who replaced him? He's terrible. And who replaced him? They're in 90th. They're doing fine. What run of bad results are they talking about? I guess they didn't do well in the Southeast Asian Championships, and that's what caused him to resign. But they had a monumental rise, like 40 ranking points rise. I can't believe he's left. Well, the question is, where does our perfect manager end up next? Because there's this thing in the game where if he is a free agent for too long, he'll just leave. He will retire and leave the game. He just won't be in the game anymore. I hope that doesn't happen, but he did get fired from the Philippines. He's not going to be super well wanted. We're hoping that but his current reputation is so low. That current reputation's so low that no one might want him. His world reputation's high, but that current reputation is not. So we just need to hope that it's still high enough for him to get a job, maybe even in the Philippines Football League. But we are at serious risk of losing our perfect manager now from the Philippines. Let's take a quick look at how our perfect manager who started in England is doing. It doesn't actually look like anything's happened. What did he do at Bayern last season? Did they win the league? He's still the manager. They finished how'd they do in the Bundesliga? Past winners. Oh, they finished second. Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, well, the perfect manager, he might be on a little downslide if he's not winning the Bundesliga with Bayern. There's space here for a perfect manager who started in the Philippines to catch up, but he needs to get a job. I'm going to go forward 1 year to see if our perfect manager is still here, but we are at serious risk of losing him. Let's see what happens. Well, folks, that is it. 1 year into the future, our perfect manager from the Philippines never got a job, and we lost him. He's gone. He's retired. That's it. He's out of the game. Well, he wasn't able to make it up the coaching ladder. This shows how important it is, even as a manager in game, to be at the right starting point and to be in the right position. Because after 7 years, he left the game. He started off at Kai where he did really well. He was in a real successful position. He was able to work up the coaching ladder. But then he ended up at the Philippines national team. He couldn't improve the squad. And after a bad run of results, he resigned. That tanked his current reputation. And when that current reputation went down, that was it. He couldn't get a job. And so is the life of a manager in game. And all that's left now is our perfect manager who started off at Man City and has now worked his way to Bayern, where he did in fact win the Bundesliga last year. All right, well, I'm curious to just see how this guy does. So I don't know how I'll simulate forward 15 or 20 years to see where he ends up, and we'll call it a day. So let's sim forward and see how our manager who started at the top, if he was able to stay there. and I have ended up simulating forward to 2052, where not only has our perfect manager been able to get there, but boy, has he been able to be the best manager of all time. He has restored perfect world, current, and home reputation. He's the most reputable manager of all time. Let's see what he's done to get that way. Sure enough, he's still perfect. He's still got that great tactical style, and he's managed both Real Madrid and Barcelona. What a head scratcher. He's been around. City, Bayern, Inter, Villarreal, Leipzig, Mönchengladbach, then Madrid, PSG, and Barcelona. The real question is, what has he done? Wow, just looking 4.04 billion transfer value. That's insane. All right. Let's start. Where were we last? Four consecutive with Premier Divisions and two Champions League with City. And he won the Bundesliga. Oh, he was fired from Bayern. He must not have won the Bundesliga that year. Then he went to Inter, who won the Serie A twice. He won the Serie A three times. Then he went to Villarreal. That's interesting, where he won the Spanish First Division, two consecutive First Division titles, taking it away from Barcelona and Real Madrid. How many teams have done that? Wow, he ended actually Atletico Madrid, but he partially ended Barcelona dominance. That is phenomenal to see. Then he went to, for some reason, going back, he went to Leipzig, where he won the Bundesliga and Champions League. Oh my word. He's had a phenomenal, he won the Champions League twice. Oh wow. And then he was fired? That's harsh. That is so harsh. And then he goes to their rival. Oh wow, he was insane. And he won the Champions League with Borussia Mönchengladbach. And he won the Bundesliga. And then he won the Spanish First Division with Real Madrid twice. Then he went to PSG and won Ligue 1, and now he's at Barcelona. Wow, he's won the Champions League with teams that you would never expect. He won it with Man City twice. He didn't win it with Bayern, but then he goes to Villarreal, does an amazing job before winning the Champions League with Leipzig twice. And then Borussia Mönchengladbach. Wow. I'll tell you what, we didn't get much out of our perfect manager who started in the Philippines. But this guy, who is Filipino to be fair, has had, with a national C license, I forgot that I didn't change that. He's had the most insane career that I've ever seen. So being the perfect manager in Football Manager actually does quite a lot. If we look through everything he's ever won, sure enough, he won the Champions League. Champions League here, Man City. And then he took a break and went to Inter, where he didn't win anything, but at Villarreal, he won the Spanish First Division, ending Barcelona's dominance. He goes to Leipzig, wins the Champions League twice before departing and going to Gladbach, where he won the Champions League again. He's been absolutely insane. What a phenomenal career. Where there you have it at the ripe old age of 69, our perfect manager, who is Filipino, really became the perfect manager and did it all and won the Champions League with some clubs who I would never expect. And this goes to show where you start is so important as a manager, because if you're in a good position to succeed and be good, you can end up being one of the best of all time. You put yourself in a position to succeed, you will succeed. But if you get it's so easy to lose your reputation because the first time you got to resign because of a poor run of results. Sometimes you just can't get back into it, especially if you've started at a low level. What a neat experiment. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. This was two perfect managers in FM24 and how their careers panned out starting at very different levels. And this guy has probably had one of the best careers I've ever seen. I hope you've enjoyed this experiment. I hope you all are having a wonderful week, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.